Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Aeroplane Park Footy Show, presented by Peter, the Lieutenant and the two Jamies. Peter, what's the big issue this week?
Big issue was last night Melbourne sacked Dean Bailey because of their performance in Geelong. 186 points they lost by was absolutely shocking, and that margin was the second highest in the history of the AFL. So that's why they decided to sack him. And yeah, so that's the biggest issue this week.
Yeah, and what do you think about the idea of putting in the caretaker coach?
Caretaker coach, yeah.
Todd Viney's got a bit of a, he's a former captain.
Yeah, so Todd Viney, I think they chose him as caretaker coach.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's funny too that one thing that often happens when they do this is that the team wins the following week.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
As Adelaide did on the weekend.
Yeah.
It's quite odd.
How much they won?
It was a fair amount, yeah, 40 points, was it?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's review. How did your teams go on the weekend? Let's start with you, Peter.
Again, well, Essendon lost by 74 points against Collingwood. First half was good, gave Collingwood a bit of a fright. Keep 8 goals in the first quarter, then I think 3 in the second, and then
you came back like a jet.
Yep. Collingwood were too good. We had 2 injuries, Ben Prismal and Travis Collier. And hopefully we can, this week got Sydney at Etihad Stadium, and hopefully we have to win that one to have a chance of making the finals. So yeah, go Bombers.
The Dogs, what happened?
We lost by 8 by West Coast, so a bit of a not bad, but we should have won that. Because if the Empires wouldn't, usually play on them, they should they usually play on that, and then usually Dean Cox on West Coast was sitting there, all the clocks twice and then. And
running down the clock.
Yeah, running down the clock.
And waste time, and Empires are hopeless. We should have won that.
No, I think in all fairness though that the Dogs had their chances.
Yeah,
I watched the end of that game, and I was, they could have. They had their chance to sort of,
we should have won that and had a chance in.
They wanted to come back in 50.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why it was so disappointing that they got so close.
One he had a good go in the third quarter. Yeah. And the same with the fourth one.
But they said Bulldogs have done that before.
Yeah, indeed they have.
But they said that was years ago.
And boy, it was everyone happy. Shake their head and happy.
Yeah, I think Bulldogs season's over.
Yeah, we just have a good.
Can't make the finals.
Next year, and we've got hard next year.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you've still got Rodney Eade next year.
Yeah,
He'll probably leave.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Oh, yeah, he's been here all
Contract finished end this year.
Yeah, so he could go anywhere. Could end in Adelaide, could end up in Melbourne, at Melbourne now. Speaking of Melbourne, lean forward and talk to us.
We got smashed by Geelong by 6 points. We got murdered by the Cats. One of the Geelong players got the hand pass, the hand pass, around. And they just scored a goal, and we didn't kick straight away. So Malone didn't play. He played the first time. He just got sucked off from Bay. So this week we got Carlton, MCG. It was tough for us. So we'll see how we go. We play our best. Yeah.
So we'll
But we can still make the finals if we can beat Carlton.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look, in a perfect world, who would you have as your coach if you had your choice of everybody?
Gary Lyon.
Gary Lyon.
A legend of now.
And we should I think the Empires would cheat, and it wouldn't,
Oh, they're just playing according to the rules. You can't stop
there was
that.
umpires between Lyndon Dunn and Butch. Captain push.
Oh, okay.
The thing about footy about me is the umpires are hopeless.
Yeah.
Well, I think the umpires are always
It's not only
blamed.
the umpires, it's the players.
Yeah, no, I think the umpires are blamed when the team doesn't go
If you
well.
go back in the olden days, so we're good, hey?
Yeah.
Because they had one umpire and I'm good.
Yeah, no, but in the olden days, you'd have people knocked out behind the play because you didn't have that many umpires to see it.
And
You know?
now all the football's all money now.
If there was hole and ball, back in the olden days, it's just hole and ball, and it was hole and ball, and they get free kicking whenever.
Yeah, but the game's evolved, and I think as it changes, you need to make those rules.
Back to where it was before.
Because all
Well,
it's on the,
You'd be the only person thinking that way, I think, because it's much better as it is now. It's so fast. It's an
Yeah.
incredible game. And I mean, I'm old enough to have seen games in the 1960s, you know, and let me tell you, between then and now,
Yeah,
it's
it's,
much better. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean the supporters, our supporters were not happy next to
Yeah.
boys
Yeah.
Let's move on. Hawthorn.
Hawthorn had a good win this weekend against
Yeah.
Fremantle. We won by 51 points and we kept them goalless in the first quarter. And this week we got North Melbourne at Tasmania.
Mm-hmm.
And next week we got Port Adelaide down here.
So who kicked the most goals in Hawthorn?
Who did kick the most goals?
No, Buddy didn't kick any.
No.
No, Buddy was held, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any from Melbourne? Kicking goals?
Melbourne kicked 2 goals and Dutton kicked one,
And-
Tringo one.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
Barry-
pretty easy to remember.
Matthew
Yeah.
Gray kicked one too.
Not many goals
Barry
kicked.
Barry kicked 5 and
What was it?
Luke Bressick kicked
Leroy
three.
Jenkins 3.
3, yeah.
Dale Hale, he kicked
3.
3.
Yeah, it's a big weekend, really.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
like,
Yeah, and Melbourne got after that. Well, Richmond, we got Gold Coast.
there you go.
They should have those two.
We should beat Richmond and Gold Coast.
And after our
The
ball,
last time we played them, they had that game.
Yeah, you
won it.
flogged Gold Coast.
and after our ball, we got Essendon,
Yeah.
and then we got, I think it's Paul, I think,
Yeah.
and then we got,
Yeah.
I think it's Fremantle and no Geelong, Fremantle, I think, or no.
All right. Any changes to your predictions of last week as to who's going to be there in the grand final?
Oh, grand final.
Hawthorn and
Collingwood.
Collingwood. Anyone else think
I
that?
reckon
I think Collingwood and probably Carlton, maybe yeah.
No, it's going to be Geelong, I reckon.
It'll be Collingwood versus Geelong.
Yeah.
I'd be
And it'll
surprised
be-
if it's
it'll
not.
be a good
No
game.
offence to
It'll be
Hawthorn.
very good game.
I want Carlton Geelong.
Wait, if I think in first
That ain't going to.
Nah, it won't happen, Vincent, because
It
Collingwood
might.
and Geelong in the grand final.
in first final.
Best 2 teams.
Or rivalry, Hawthorn and Geelong.
Yeah, well, I know.
That can happen.
How
Who's going to beat Collingwood?
You've got to beat Collingwood twice too to kick them out. So.
many finals actually in just 3 finals?
No, there's heaps of finals because of the McIntyre system. There's
yeah,
8 they've got to work out. So,
And 2
yeah.
matches in the grand final.
We'll deal with that next week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.